Most people believe attraction is obvious. They assume that if a woman likes someone, she will constantly smile, start every conversation, send long messages, and make her feelings completely clear. It sounds simple, but real life is rarely that straightforward. Human emotions are complex, and people often hide what they feel, especially when those feelings make them vulnerable. Many women don't immediately express attraction because they fear rejection, embarrassment, or misreading the other person's intentions. Instead of revealing everything with words, they often communicate through subtle behaviors that are easy to overlook if you are only paying attention to the surface. This is why so many men misunderstand situations. They meet someone who seems quiet or reserved and immediately conclude that she isn't interested. They walk away before giving the connection a chance to develop. They mistake hesitation for rejection, shyness for indifference, and emotional caution for a lack of attraction. Yet the truth is that genuine interest doesn't always arrive with dramatic gestures. Sometimes it appears in small moments, a lingering glance, a genuine smile that quickly disappears, a question about your day, or the way she remembers something you casually mentioned weeks ago. These tiny details often speak louder than grand declarations because they happen naturally, without planning. Before you assume someone has no interest in you, remind yourself that appearances can be deceiving. Not everyone feels comfortable wearing their emotions on their sleeve. Some people need time before they trust another person enough to show how they truly feel. They may test the waters, observe your character, and quietly evaluate whether you are someone worth opening up to. That doesn't mean you should chase someone endlessly or convince yourself that every polite interaction is a hidden confession of love. Instead, it means you should learn to observe patiently rather than jumping to conclusions after a single conversation. One of the greatest strengths you can develop is emotional awareness. Confident people don't panic when someone isn't immediately expressive. They understand that meaningful relationships are built over time, not in a single interaction. They pay attention to patterns instead of isolated moments. They notice consistency instead of chasing assumptions. This mindset protects you from unnecessary disappointment while allowing genuine connections to grow naturally. Remember that attraction is only one part of the equation. Mutual respect, trust, honesty, and emotional maturity matter far more than temporary excitement. Even if someone secretly likes you, the relationship can only flourish if both people feel safe, appreciated, and understood. Your goal should never be to force feelings or decode every tiny behavior like a puzzle. Your goal should be to become someone who communicates with confidence, treats others with kindness, and values yourself regardless of anyone else's opinion. As we continue, you'll discover that female psychology is often more subtle than many people expect. Hidden attraction usually reveals itself through repeated actions rather than dramatic words. By learning to recognize these patterns calmly and objectively, you'll avoid common misunderstandings and build stronger, healthier relationships based on genuine understanding instead of guesswork. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to understand attraction is believing that the harder they chase someone, the more likely they are to win that person's heart. It sounds logical at first, but in reality, constant pursuit often creates the opposite effect. When someone feels pressured, they naturally pull away. Real attraction grows in an environment where both people feel comfortable, respected, and free to express themselves at their own pace. That is why learning to observe is far more powerful than learning to chase. Imagine meeting someone who catches your attention. Instead of immediately looking for signs that they like you, take a step back and simply notice how they behave over time. Do they seem genuinely interested in your conversations? Do they remember little details you shared weeks ago? Do they find reasons to be around you, even when they don't have to. These small actions often reveal more than words ever could. Anyone can say flattering things, but consistent behavior is much harder to fake. Many people allow emotions to cloud their judgment. They become so focused on receiving instant confirmation that they misinterpret every little interaction. A delayed text reply suddenly feels like rejection. A brief conversation becomes proof that the connection is over. On the other hand, a single smile or compliment is sometimes exaggerated into a sign of deep attraction. Both extremes lead to disappointment because they are based on assumptions rather than reality. Emotionally mature people understand that one moment rarely tells the whole story. They pay attention to patterns, not isolated events. Patience is an underrated quality in modern relationships. In a world where people expect immediate answers and instant gratification, slowing down can actually give you a clearer understanding of someone's true intentions. Attraction often develops gradually. Some women naturally take longer to trust someone before expressing their emotions openly. They may observe how you treat others, how you respond under pressure, and whether your confidence comes from genuine self-respect or from seeking validation. During this time, their interest may be visible only through subtle actions that repeat consistently. Confidence also plays an important role in this process. True confidence doesn't mean trying to impress everyone or constantly proving your worth. It means being comfortable with uncertainty. It means understanding that you don't need immediate answers to maintain your peace of mind. When you are secure in yourself, you don't overanalyze every message or become anxious over every pause in communication. Instead, you remain calm, continue focusing on your own goals, and allow relationships to develop naturally. Another important lesson is that attraction should never become an obsession. If you spend all your energy trying to decode every glance or every word, you stop living your own life. Ironically, people are often most attractive when they are fully engaged in their own purpose rather than constantly seeking approval. A person who has goals, hobbies, discipline, and emotional stability naturally stands out because their happiness doesn't depend on someone else's attention. As you continue listening, remember this simple principle: actions reveal more than assumptions. Instead of chasing certainty, develop the habit of quiet observation. Notice consistency, respect boundaries, and allow time to reveal what words sometimes cannot. This approach not only helps you understand female psychology more clearly, but also protects your confidence and emotional well-being, no matter what the outcome may be. Before you spend time trying to understand whether someone is secretly attracted to you, there is a much more important question you should ask yourself. How do you see your own value? Too many people unknowingly tie their confidence to someone else's attention. They believe they are attractive only if they receive compliments, only if their messages are answered quickly, or only if the person they admire returns their feelings. This mindset is dangerous because it places your happiness in someone else's hands. The truth is that your worth has never depended on another person's opinion, and it never will. Real confidence begins the moment you stop seeking constant validation. It grows when you recognize that your character, your integrity, your kindness, and your personal growth are far more valuable than temporary approval. A woman may like you, she may not like you, or she may still be deciding how she feels. None of those possibilities should change the way you see yourself. When your confidence comes from within, you naturally become calmer, more patient, and more emotionally attractive. People can sense the difference between someone who enjoys their own life and someone who is desperately searching for acceptance. Ironically, many people become more attractive the moment they stop trying so hard to impress others. They focus on improving themselves instead of chasing attention. They invest time in their health, their career, their friendships, and their goals. They continue learning, growing, and becoming better versions of themselves every day. This creates a quiet confidence that cannot be faked. It is not loud or arrogant. It does not seek applause. It simply comes from knowing who you are and where you are going. It is also important to understand that rejection is not always a reflection of your value. Sometimes two people simply are not compatible. They may have different priorities, different personalities, or different stages of life. That does not mean one person is better than the other. It simply means the connection was not meant to be. Emotionally mature people accept this reality without allowing it to damage their self-esteem. They understand that not every relationship is supposed to become a lasting one, and they continue moving forward with dignity. Another mistake many people make is trying to change themselves completely just to gain someone's affection. While personal growth is always positive, changing your identity to fit someone else's expectations often leads to unhappiness. Healthy relationships are built on authenticity, not performance. The right person will appreciate your genuine personality, not a version of you created solely to earn approval. Becoming your best self should always be for your own growth first, not as a strategy to make someone else notice you. As you continue this journey, remember that attraction is only meaningful when it is mutual and built on respect. Never lose yourself while trying to win someone else's heart. Keep your standards high, protect your self-respect, and continue building a life that makes you proud, regardless of who chooses to be part of it. The strongest people are not those who can make everyone like them. They are the ones who remain confident, kind, and emotionally grounded, even when life does not go exactly as they hoped. That kind of inner strength is far more attractive than any clever words or temporary charm, and it becomes the foundation for every healthy relationship you will ever build. By now, one truth should be becoming clear. Real attraction is revealed through consistent actions, not dramatic words. Anyone can give a compliment, send a thoughtful message, or act interested for a short period of time. But maintaining genuine care over days, weeks, and months requires sincerity. This is why paying attention to patterns is far more valuable than becoming obsessed with isolated moments. If someone is secretly attracted to you, their behavior will usually reflect that interest in subtle but consistent ways. They may find reasons to continue conversations, remember details that others forget, or show genuine curiosity about your life. These actions may seem small on their own, but together they paint a much clearer picture than any single romantic gesture ever could. At the same time, it is important not to confuse mystery with mixed signals. Many people waste months, or even years, trying to convince themselves that someone who repeatedly ignores them is secretly interested. Hope can sometimes cloud judgment, making people see signs that simply are not there. Emotional maturity means accepting reality, even when it is disappointing. If someone consistently avoids spending time with you, never initiates conversation, and shows no effort to stay connected, it is healthier to respect their space and move forward rather than inventing explanations that keep you emotionally stuck. This is where self-respect becomes your greatest strength. You should never have to beg for someone's attention or constantly prove that you are worthy of being noticed. Healthy attraction is not a one-sided competition where one person gives everything while the other gives nothing. It is a gradual exchange of effort, respect, and interest from both sides. Even if one person is naturally more reserved than the other, there should still be signs that they value the connection. Relationships thrive when both people are willing to invest in getting to know each other. Patience also plays a powerful role. In today's fast-paced world, many people expect instant clarity. They want immediate answers about how someone feels, but emotions rarely follow a strict timeline. Trust takes time to build, especially for people who have been hurt in the past or who naturally guard their feelings. Giving someone space to become comfortable does not mean putting your own life on hold. It simply means allowing the relationship to develop naturally while continuing to focus on your own goals, friendships, and personal growth. Another lesson worth remembering is that attraction should never become the center of your identity. Your happiness cannot depend on whether one particular person likes you. The most attractive individuals are often those who are deeply committed to their own purpose. They pursue meaningful goals, maintain strong values, and continue improving themselves regardless of what is happening in their romantic lives. This quiet confidence creates an energy that draws people in because it reflects emotional stability rather than desperation. As we move forward into the next part of this journey, remember that understanding female psychology is not about learning tricks or manipulating emotions. It is about becoming more aware, more patient, and more emotionally intelligent. Observe actions more than words, respect boundaries more than fantasies, and value yourself enough to walk away from situations that consistently drain your peace. The right connection will never require you to sacrifice your dignity or lose your sense of self. When you combine confidence with kindness, patience with self-respect, and curiosity with emotional balance, you place yourself in the strongest possible position, not just to recognize genuine attraction, but to build relationships that are healthy, honest, and lasting.